Hi, everybody. Today I have Crystal with me. She's a hydrologist, and I'm just going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Crystal. Sha'e Crystal Tulley-Cordova, Yanishya, Twitch eating the Shlin, Katnezahni Bashichin, Heshkan Hedza Edasha Chetwo, Heklini Edashanella. I introduced in my clans. I am of the Bitterwater clan, born for the Tangle clan. My maternal grandfather's clan is the yucca fruit strung on a line, and my paternal grandfather's clan is the water that flows together. I'm from the largest land-based tribe in the United States, called the Navajo Nation. It is located in the Four Corners region. It is in Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. And I'm happy to be here today.
Nice, awesome. Thanks, Crystal. So just to get started, definitely want to just talk about kind of where you got your start. Did you know from when you were young, like, I want to be a hydrologist, or was it something that you kind of began to love, the more you started going through school and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'm a hydrologist, principal hydrologist for the Navajo Nation. So I deal a lot with water in different ways. My introduction to my studies started as an explorer and scientist. So I have a petrified rock here, and seeing these type of things in the environment from which I grew up really interested me into water. Also, on family vacations, we went to different places, California, Hawaii, and you collect these little things here, a seashell. And in the backyard of where my paternal grandmother lives, so my dad's mom, she had seashells, and it was really mind-boggling to me as a little kid to see seashells in Arizona in a high desert region.
For sure, right? You're like, wait.
Also, I brought a Navajo basket, and this Navajo basket is made with plants, and the plants were dyed with natural dye, using the plants to dye, and this basket was formed. I mean, who can imagine, that my ancestors a long time ago used these type of materials, and we still have that practice today of creating things from the environment that rely on water. We also have here, might just look like a plant to you that has been dried out, but it's actually a brush, so you could be able to use it to brush your hair. Mm-hmm. And my ancestors also use this type of material for brushing your hair as well. And so there's many things in our environment that we take for granted sometimes, but it's an invaluable resource, meaning it's very important and our lives are dependent upon it. I mean, no matter if people say, well, I don't drink that much water, but if you drink punch or, different types of juices, those rely on water. Yeah. Or sports drinks, those all rely on water. So if you really evaluate your life, it's important to think how much water plays a role. And it's also important to think about ways we can conserve water with prolonged drought that continues throughout time.
Definitely. I think that's an important note to make, because I think just now I haven't been exposed to a lot of information. Even sitting here talking with you kind of, at least for myself, I didn't even realize it's literally a part of every single thing. It's so readily available that it's hard to kind of register even at what scale it is that we're using it at, even, or that it's just being pumped around us, the energy it even takes to move it around, like that.
Yeah, and one of the things that's important to also think, the place that I come from, the Navajo Nation, mm-hmm. There are still a lot of people that don't have running water in their homes, which is something that's surprising to some people to hear. And so with this whole COVID-19 crisis, there are people who, the recommendation from the CDC is to be able to wash their hands, but when you have to travel a long ways to get regulated drinking water, basically drinking water that is safe, that you have to do a variety of things to be able to access that water that some people might take for granted. And for myself, I did grow up in my young years without running water in our home.
No, I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier about how it was for you growing up. And so do you have an elder or a mentor that made a huge difference or an impact for you that you think to this day, kind of still resonates with you?
Yeah, I think about my fourth grade teacher, who was a great person, Mrs. Infield, she introduced me to science and STEM in general. And if it wasn't for her, I think, I wouldn't feel as confident then as I am now to be able to ask a lot of questions. I know sometimes we feel like our question may be a dumb question, or it's already answered by somewhere else, but all the questions that we have about our environment around us are important questions to ask in order for us to understand how we fit in this world and how processes occur, why things are the way they are. That also helps us to be able to understand everything around us. And so asking questions is a great way to be able to determine, not only who you are as an individual and, try to figure out where you want to go in life, but also a good way to just be inquisitive and find out about the world around you.
So I know you kind of have talked about being the first in your family. So do you have any advice for people who might be, kind of the first in the field of something, or, just not very sure of where to get their footing? Because sometimes we have these like concrete ideas of things we might want to be, but kind of spreading the imagination in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I'm in hydrology. That means studying water. And I didn't realize that was a degree until later on in my college career. But there are many things in your life where you can be the first at something. Be the first person to go to college in your family, maybe be the first person to graduate from high school, or be the first person to create something and be able to give back to different communities, whether it's your own community or the science community in different ways. And so being a pioneer in blazing your own trail, it's great to be able to do that. There are still a lot of things that have been not invented. There's a lot of things in our life that haven't been researched. So it's important to be able to think about, this COVID-19 is one example of that. A lot of people don't know a lot about this virus. And so as the months, years, decades down the line come, there's an opportunity to be able to learn more about something. And that can be anything in life, to be able to research more about plants, about bugs, about animals, maybe about water, maybe about rocks. There's a lot out there yet still to be discovered.
Right, for sure. Yeah, it's really cool. It can seem hard to think that there's things that haven't been discovered yet, that things might not be as sure as they seem, So that's really cool. It's really cool. All right, Crystal, well, thank you for your time and your stories and just sharing with us today. We really appreciate you. Just taking the time to kind of talk with us and let everyone know, what you're doing and your stories. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And I look forward to being able to go back to Explora and be able to see all the different exhibits once we're able to get out and start being out in the public.